Welcome to Upskill RX, your go-to place for building a career in pharma and biotech. In today's video, we are answering one of the most frequently asked questions: how do I break into regulatory affairs? So whether you're a recent graduate or looking to pivot, this one is for you. Have you ever wondered how prescription drugs, medical devices, or even skincare products get approved and land on the market? That's where regulatory affairs comes in. Regulatory affairs is a field focused on making sure health-related products like medicines, vaccines, medical devices, and diagnostics are safe, effective, and compliant with laws set by regulatory agencies like the FDA in the United States or the EMA in Europe. Professionals in this field act as the bridge between science, business, and government. They work with scientists, manufacturers, legal teams, and marketing groups to ensure products meet strict safety standards and that all the necessary data is properly submitted to regulatory bodies for approval. And that's not it. Regulatory affairs continues to monitor products even when they are on the market, ensuring they remain safe for public use and respond to issues like recalls or label changes. So they play a role across different industries like pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, medical devices, veterinary medicine, cosmetics, and even digital health. So wherever a product affects human or animal health, regulatory affairs is involved. In short, regulatory affairs ensures that products not only work, but they do so safely, legally, and ethically, protecting both public health and a company's ability to succeed in the market. So you don't need to be a lawyer or a pharmacist to enter regulatory affairs. If you're organized, detail oriented, and good at interpreting guidelines, you're already halfway there. Most regulatory affair roles appreciate a science background, but soft skills are just as much important. Breaking into regulatory affairs isn't about following a straight path. There's no single degree or job title that will get you in. What matters most is your ability to bridge science, business, and compliance and do it under pressure. So let's look at some of the core skills that actually matter if you're aiming to launch a career in regulatory affairs. Firstly, you will need solid regulatory knowledge. That means staying current with changing healthcare regulations, compliance standards, and submission requirements. You will also need to know your way around technical documentation. Writing clear, accurate, and compliant reports is a major part of the job. Understanding the landscape of global regulatory agencies like FDA or EMA is also helpful. So is knowing the tools like electronic document management systems, databases, and tracking platforms. For those with a science, engineering, or clinical background, that technical knowledge is definitely a plus, but business savvy candidates can also thrive. Soft skills are also critical: communication, collaboration, and leadership. You will be working with cross functional teams, government agencies, and senior stakeholders. That takes clear messaging and a lot of coordination. You will need strong decision making skills, often under tight deadlines. Regulatory professionals are expected to analyze risk, interpret policy, and guide teams through complex matters. Time management, attention to detail, and situational analysis are often essential. You will often be juggling multiple submissions, updates, and stakeholder requests at once. So let us take a look at some of the entry-level roles that you can target when you're entering into regulatory affairs. So if you can write, interpret data, and work with cross-functional teams, you can succeed in regulatory. So the good news, many people pivot into regulatory affairs from other areas like clinical research, quality control, quality assurance, pharmacology, and even business. There is no one size fits all background. So let us look at some entry level positions that can help you advance your career in regulatory affairs. So regulatory affairs associate. A regulatory affairs associate is responsible for ensuring that a company complies with all the regulations and laws pertaining to that particular industry. So they prepare and manage regulatory documentation, They get a chance to communicate with regulatory agencies, and they play a part in ensuring products meet legal requirements for safety and efficacy. The salary range for a regulatory affairs associate is about 60 to 85,000 US dollars per annum. And salary will change depending on the seniority level, location, and the particular type of industry. Technical or medical writing. Technical or medical writers create various documents related to the pharmaceutical, medical device, and biotechnology industries. This can include clinical trial reports, regulatory submissions, patient education materials, and much more. So, this role can act as a stepping stone into regulatory affairs because it helps to develop skills in understanding and communicating scientific and regulatory information. So the salary range for a technical or medical writer is around 70 to 150,000 US dollars per annum, with entry level roles getting salaries on the lower end of the spectrum. A regulatory coordinator. A regulatory coordinator is typically someone who supports the regulatory affairs team by managing the administrative and logistical aspects of regulatory submissions. So this can include preparing and organizing documentation, tracking deadlines, assisting with communication. The role also involves ensuring compliance with different kinds of policies and sponsor requirements for clinical research. So the salary range for a regulatory coordinator again is around 75 to 150,000 US dollars per annum, with salaries for entry level roles being on the lower side. CMC documentation support. So this role focuses on the chemistry, manufacturing, and control aspects of regulatory submissions. Individuals in this role are involved in creating, assembling, and publishing documentation which is related to the manufacturing and quality control aspects of pharmaceuticals and biotechnology products. So these roles ensure that the documents meet all the regulatory requirements and timelines. Again, the salary range is around 90 to 120,000 US dollars per annum, depending on seniority. Internships in quality assurance or quality control are a good way to get some hands-on experience in regulatory affairs. So interns will typically assist with tasks like document review. They will get to participate in quality control processes, and they will learn about regulatory requirements. So these entry-level positions are usually designed to provide experience to new people entering regulatory affairs and potentially lead to full-time positions. And salaries for internships are relatively on the lower side as compared to full-time positions. So that summarizes some of the entry-level positions that you can target when you're looking to get into regulatory affairs. So when you're just starting out in regulatory affairs, one of the smartest moves you can make is to build up your knowledge with focused practical courses. So let's talk about certifications. You might have heard of the RSC, the Regulatory Affairs Certification offered by the Regulatory Affairs Professional Society. It's respected in the industry and can boost your credibility. But here is the key, it's not essential at the entry level. Most people will get this certification after they've gained some experience on the job. The courses from platforms like RAPS and the Organization for Professionals in Regulatory Affairs, or the TOPRA, are designed by people in the field, so they are highly relevant. But you can also find excellent beginner-friendly courses on platforms such as Coursera, Udemy, EDX, or UpskillRx that drive into regulatory strategy, clinical trials, and submission requirements. So start with short, affordable courses that give you real-world insight into how regulatory affairs actually works. You will want to get familiar with drug development process, regulatory writing skills, and guidelines that shape global compliance, especially ICH guidelines Q8, Q9, and Q10, which cover pharmaceutical development, quality risk management, and pharmaceutical quality systems. Also, don't underestimate the importance of free or low cost webinars, workshops, or certificates. These are great for staying up to date, and many of them include case studies, templates, or tools that you can actually use on the job. So, here are some examples of courses that you can start with. Think of these courses as your foundation. They help you to speak the language of regulatory affairs and stand out to hiring managers. And most importantly, you will start contributing to the field right away. So So now let's break down what recruiters in regulatory affairs are looking for, right? So to get noticed by recruiters, you have to first tailor your resume. Don't send out the same generic document to every job. Customize it for the role. Use the language that will match the job posting. Think of words like regulatory submissions, SOPs, compliance, quality systems, ICH guidelines. Even if you're not coming from a regulatory background, look for ways to translate your past experience into relevant terms. If you have taken courses, include them. If you have written technical reports, summarize that work. Show that you understand the regulatory world even if you're new to it. Next, show a growth mindset. Recruiters want to see that you're willing to learn and not just waiting to be taught. Mention any certifications in progress, webinars that you have attended, or professional organizations that you are a part of. Don't underestimate your LinkedIn profile. That headline at the top, it matters. A line like aspiring regulatory affairs associate tells recruiters exactly who you are and what you're aiming for. Also engage, like posts, comment on industry updates, follow companies and professionals in this space. These small actions will show your interest and will help you stay visible. So make it easy for recruiters to see your potential. Tailor your resume, show you're proactive, and speak the language of regulatory affairs. That combo should land you interviews. So, what are your next steps? Regulatory work is constantly shifting thanks to new laws, new technologies, and global policies. So, make it a habit to scan trusted sources daily. Check sites like the FDA, the Federal Register, and the Drug Information Association. Subscribe to industry updates from the Food Safety Magazine or the Medical Device Manufacturers Association. Staying current and informed isn't optional, it's a part of this job. Secondly, sharpen your skills. Regulatory roles are usually fast paced, complex, and often cross functional. So, you need more than knowledge. You need strong communication skills, strong critical thinking skills, negotiation skills, and project management skills. So, these are tools that will help you work across streams and deliver results under pressure. So, keep sharpening these skills. Step 3, think globally. Today's regulatory professionals often work on global projects, navigating rules that vary by the country. Even though there's a push to harmonize regulations, differences still exist. So, if you can interpret global guidelines and create agile strategies, you will be a huge asset to any regulatory affairs team. Step 4, try to get hands on experience. So, this field isn't just about theory, it's about applying your knowledge in the real world. That means getting out of the classroom and going into the lab, the plant, or a policy setting. An advanced degree in regulatory affairs can open doors to real world projects. But if you're not ready to go back to grad school, start with internships, research opportunities, short term projects, volunteer opportunities, and start building your experience. Step 5, build your network. Find mentors who are already in the field and can guide you in your next steps. Join professional groups like RAPS or TOPRA. They offer networking events and insider resources. And if you're studying or entering a program, tap into their alumni network and employer partnerships. Relationships in this space can directly lead to opportunities. So, the world of regulatory affairs is dynamic, global, and growing fast. So, if you're curious, committed, and ready to learn, this is your time, right? Here's the bottom line, you don't need to have it all figured out to get started in regulatory affairs. It's okay to begin from wherever you are, whether that's a clinical research role, a lab position, or something totally outside the industry. What matters is if you're willing to learn the basics, build the right skills, and keep moving forward. Start by understanding the field. How do drugs, devices, and biologics get approved? Learn how regulations shape that process. From there, look for adjacent roles like quality assurance, research coordination, or technical writing. Any job that brings you closer to compliance, documentation, or which helps you to speak the regulatory language. Build on your writing and documentation skills. Regulatory work is detail heavy. The more experience you have writing SOPs, summaries, or technical reports, the more confident you will feel stepping into a regulatory role. And of course, take targeted courses. You don't need to go back to school full time. A few well chosen online classes can give you the foundational knowledge and help you find the keywords that hiring managers are looking for. So you've got this. Start where you are, learn, connect, and grow. And if you want a step by step roadmap to guide you, we've got you. Check out our free resources and online courses. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on new tips, tools, and interviews that can help you break into the field. Bye, and good luck.